I loved in Sires that one of your pet peeves is the Dave Matthews Band, so thank... You know, it's 9 o'clock, so I'm allowed to say fuck at this point. I fucking hate the Dave Matthews Band. I don't know why, but I think something has to do with pissing into the Chicago River, whatever they do. I mean, or emptying their toilets, whatever they do. So, irregardless of their music. So, thank goodness for the next presenter here tonight. Because I think Eschatol are going to completely crap on the Dave Matthews Band. So, Eschatol was formed in Chicago in the fall of 2005 by, I'm going to bastardize everybody's names as usual, Jesse Houtu, Jim Benton, Justin Siddons, and Phil Callis joined the band in the summer of 2006 after moving back to Chicago from California. The fires or something? I mean, why would he move here? Our weather is so great. Anyway, these guys are an instrumental rock band, and they employ intricate drum beats, melodic and ambient guitar textures, and driving low end to create diverse musical landscapes. This was ripped off from their website. I got here about 5:30. They were blowing the ass off this joint. They're going to play at whenever I finish rambling here tonight, and the other fantastic presenters share their eloquence with you. But in the meantime, let's hear 6 minutes and 40 seconds of a couple of the band members. I think they're going to make you love them. Thank you.
Howdy, gang. So there's two of us. This is going to be awkward. So I'm Justin. This is Jim. We're one half of Eschatol, an instrumental rock band from here in Chicago. Basically, our presentation is going to share a song we wrote called Factory at the Center of the Earth. We'll play some audio clips and describe the story that is happening during the song. So basically, that's how we're going to go. A little bit about our band. Eschatol, directly translated, means the end times. The study of eschatology is the study of the end of the world. It's very dramatic and metal. We like that, but we're pretty goofy guys, so it doesn't really match up with our personalities, but we just kind of chose the word and ran with it and tried to hold the cool front down a little bit.
So yeah, so there's four of us in the band, actually. You think I'd know that by now, but I don't know. And so I guess people ask us a lot, you know, what kind of music do you play? And it's the most annoying thing to get asked when you're in an instrumental rock band, because it's impossible to describe it. But you know, when we get asked, we try to like come up with band names, and we came up with this diagram which we think does pretty good. So it combines post-rock and prog rock into what we call ADD rock, which just means there's a lot of parts, they change frequently, and we can't always remember what they are. And the fact that our songs are like this directly stems from the way we write music, which is, you know, one person or two people get together and they come up with something that they think is cool, and then we do what we call Frankensteining, where we throw things together. And hopefully they work out, and sometimes, as in the case of this song, actually we had a story first, so we piece things together and we kind of, you know, mesh things into some kind of narrative. But sometimes that's not the case and they don't make any sense. So.
Okay, so Factory at the Center of the Earth by Eschatol. You see a green planet from space. You move toward the surface, flying down through a layer of wispy cloud cover. A blue bird swoops through the air and down towards a dense forest below. In the trees, many other animals fly or swing from branch to branch. The scene appears beautiful, but something is amiss.
The ground begins to shake violently. Animals scatter away from a chasm that opens in the surface of the planet. A dark, foreboding shape forces its way out of the abyss, extends out over the treetops, and scrapes the sky. The structure is industrial and cold. As it slows to a stop, another like it appears nearby. and then another and another, until the forest is shrouded in the shadows of dozens of stark monoliths.
Beneath the newly cracked surface and amidst miles of dark tunnels and passageways, a large factory looms. It contains many vast rooms which are dimly lit and have tall ceilings. Conveyor belts crisscross the floor dotted by machines and workers. A clan of mole people are working to produce seeds. They are ambling lifelessly through their shifts. The seeds are collected by messengers and then taken up to the surface to be planted.
Towering above the factory is a control room. Inside the room, a robot nefariously sorts through maps that outline his plans for global domination. He is interrupted by a foreman who reports the week's production totals. The robot is not pleased. He shoves the foreman, sending him tumbling out of the control room and down onto the production floor below. The workers freeze momentarily and then resume working. The foreman does not get up.
Having seen what happened to the foreman, a mole messenger hustles to complete his deliveries faster than usual. In his haste, he becomes confused and charges down the wrong passageway. He stops abruptly at a door labeled Power Room. The messenger begins to turn around, but then he turns back and faces the door. There is a bright green light shining out through underneath it. The messenger tries the handle. It is unlocked. I think the music's a little messed up. It's okay, we'll play it later if you stay. Promise. 16.
Now inside the room, the messenger finds a glowing seed from which a plant has sprouted and is bearing fruit. The plant is contained inside a mechanical device that is harvesting its energy to power the factory. The messenger is tired and hungry, and he plucks one of the fruits from the plant's branches and places it in his mouth. He bites down, and a feeling of warmth overtakes his body, starting at his chest and extending out through his limbs.
The messenger's body begins to tremble and grow larger. He expands to barely fit inside the room, and then breaks through its walls. As his size increases, so does his anger. He tears out of the factory and up to the surface, where he is now as large as the buildings. The messenger's now mighty fists begin to pummel building after building. As the structures crash to the ground in his wake, the robot appears on the surface for the final showdown. Which, it might sound like the same clip, but it's supposed to be distorted to get like showdown guitars. Woo! So imagine that if you still got your eyes closed.
Ultimately, the messenger defeats the robot, and during the course of the battle, the robot is launched from the surface of the planet and into space. The mole people are freed and over time are able to disassemble all of the buildings and return their world to its original state. Okay, thanks for listening. We'll play the actual song later in the correct order. Yeah.
And not the same thing over and over. Thank you very much.
So I hope you all stick around for the live music program later. It sounds a little bit like a kind of a mashup of Zappa meets Slint battles Rush. I don't know if there's any Rush fans in the room, but it kind of takes me back a little bit to a little kind of Rush-ish Slint band kind of music stuff.